Hi, this is Guy on the 15th of June 2024. Now, that was one heck of a week we just had in the markets, and we're going to go through it in a minute. Very volatile, and really one grouping really dominating the entire week this week, even though, even from an overbought base, still going strong in tech and semiconductors. So we'll go through that in just a few moments. Just to put you on alert for the fact that we do have a webinar this coming week, and it's going to be the time poor webinar. I'm going to show you with Jay, some of his fast filters, which have been working really, really well. They're really big time savers for you, and he will be showing you how he gets along with this, because obviously I spend a bit more time than him, and he spends very little time on it, and that might suit you down to the ground. I know a number of really good members, prolific members, who use his fast filters regularly. So do be aware of that. We'll put it in the Telegram groups as well. In fact, make sure you are on those Telegram groups, whichever ones you qualify for through your membership. And I will say one thing, a big shout out to the Bootcamp Telegram group. You guys have really, really excelled yourselves. So helpful, and really observing nice, decent, helpful protocols, which I think everyone's enjoying. So stock group, up your game a little bit, but options group, you're doing great. Okay. Let's, but actually before I do go on today, I just want to show you a couple of things that you can look forward to. Imminently, the new education platform will be up and running in a MVP version as well. That's minimum viable. We'll improve things as we go along, but there's a big new education vault for the stocks and options, which will be very helpful to everybody. And this is what you can look forward to very, very soon as well, the new Trade Finder scenario as well. So all this is changing. You got the little hamburger up here. You got your personal watch list. You got the pro watch list. That'll be the likes of me and Glenn and Chloe and Jay, etc. And then you've got your Trade Finder as well. And all you have to do is click on the Trade Finder that you qualify for. So if you've got stocks VIP or options or stocks essentials or any of the options ones, you click on one, and you can go to the Pro fast filters if you like, and if you want to go and then edit them, you can do them. You just click on one. Let's click on one that actually has something. There's your fast filter there, and if you want to do any of your own, you can do any of your own as well. Let's click on one that actually has got something, and then you can also edit them or create your own filters in here as well. So that's literally doing your filters straight off the charts. Going to be massive time saver. We'll be releasing this soon, just a few more tweaks to go. And of course, what you can do is you can just say, look, just do a new search right off the bat. So what you're going to be able to do is edit my fast filters or the OVI collective fast filters, edit your own fast filters and create your own as well from my ones, or update yours or create new ones, or just ones straight from scratch. But doing it straight from the charts is such a big win and very exciting too. All right, let's go and find out what's going on in the markets. So in terms of the long-term indicator, it's still saying green, and that's been a good shout, really. But this is what you're going to find is very interesting about this particular week, is that there's really a concentration of what's been pushing the markets. Most sectors have been down or flat. It's really semiconductors and tech that's been really leading the charge, and that you've got to pay a little bit of attention to, because the rest of the market hasn't been particularly good. And in fact, as I go through a number of stocks today, you'll see that the behavior was not optimal at all. And a lot of the good behavior has been coming off stocks that were already kind of overbought in any case. So if we look at the 1 month trend of the top 1,000, we're seeing quite a lot of red there. Not an awful lot of consolidations to bite on this week either. So probably not one of the most helpful weeks from our point of view. If you look at the two pies that we look for in terms of a mean reversion, we're not going to find much joy either there. That's not very helpful, is it? Let's just go back there. I didn't expect that one to happen. Let's click on that pie again. OVI moving average pie. There we go. Let's populate. Click on it. There we go. A refresh page will often fix anything. And what we're looking for in this pie, these are stocks where they have gone above or below certain OVI moving average thresholds, and we look for extremes. We are not getting extremes right now there, so I'm not going to bother even looking at that. And then the subset of that is those stocks which have gone above and below OVI thresholds and crossed one way or t'other through their 200-day moving average. It just seems to be the better one. And again, nothing extreme in there either. So nothing to go on with in terms of those things. Let's have a quick look at what else is going on the dashboard, see if anything else strikes us. We're not in earnings at this moment in time. Really interesting to see how many the shrinking retracements in the top 1,000 heavily weighted to bearish rather than bullish. We need a bit more information on that one. I'm not going to make a quick call on that one to see how useful that is at the moment, but it's just interesting to see. And, well, there are a fair few reversals, but nothing that really stands out. We will redo this page in due course. We'll redesign it. Let's go look at market timers. Is there anything we can get from there? Well, I'll go on to the S&P in a minute. Obviously, the OVI has been pretty good recently, last couple of months. That's pretty good. We are, up here and reasonably overbought. We'll look at that in another chart. The medium-term timer, on which I place an awful lot of importance, is still bullish and not overbought either. So that's something to think about. And then in terms of the three components, 1, 2, and 3 that make up for our OVI sentiment indicator long term, which is obviously a full green at the moment, the adaptive, that is a sort of machine learning AI for all the S&P 500 stocks. Individually, that is still green. Then the OVI for the indices, still green. And then the AI machine learning for the moving averages for the indices, still green. So that's why you've got green in there right now. Do I expect some kind of retracement imminently? I do, because we're overbought, and we've even been extended from overbought levels as well. But that's just, you're going to have to manage your risk quite carefully in that. And when it comes to finding interesting stocks, boy, I haven't found that many really good ones. In fact, for the last few weeks, it's literally the concentration has really been in tech from an already overbought situation. So quite difficult from that perspective. Now, if we look at, it's always worth doing this, going into the ETF sectors. So in your watch list area there, make sure you have these ETFs already in your own watch list. I do. Always keep an eye on what's going on here. And what you'll notice is that the semiconductor and XLK have been dominating, whereas other sectors have been a bit flat, not doing that much. Energy down, which is quite a surprise from where it was a few weeks ago or a couple of weeks ago, where it looked like it was about to make a move upwards. So be aware of these and make sure you're aware of what's going on in the wider markets, because if you do see a sector beginning to do something interesting, then there's going to be stocks within that sector that then you can have a look at. And I've got those lists for you in any case. So you can say, let's just say you like SOXL, you can do SOXL stocks. And I've done the list for you, and they will give you a list of semiconductor stocks, and you can go and have a look at that. So if you see SOXL in the sectors doing well, then you might want to have a quick look at this one while you're at it as well. And in fact, this one here, ACLX, is actually looking pretty decent. Let's just take that off. So this is how I'll do things, and I'll look at it and I go, actually, that looks pretty good. Let's have a look then at the only reason it hasn't come up for me is because the implied vol is a little bit on the high side, but that there is pretty good behavior in here, up, and then right at that moving average, right at that key level, decent big money footprints. It has gone up again. So you could then say, well, okay, that's interesting. You would do, and you go click, which let's just go click it, and then you see it appear down here in there, and that number will correspond to how many you've checked. And then what you'll do is you'll go copy to, and you'll copy to one of your watch lists, and it will just auto-fill as you start to type in, or you can copy it to a brand new watch list if you like. It's so intuitive and so good and so fast, and you can do it, regardless of whether you've got a tablet or iPad or whatever, and it's just really, really cool. So just remember to use those, that function. Go through the sector ETFs, and if a sector ETF broadly looks good, then they will inevitably be some stocks pushing that agenda and then driving that behavior. Let's go through some individual stocks now. Also, the other ones you should do if you have VIP status is definitely just type in the word J. I've done that here. You haven't got that yet, but actually you do have that. Sorry. Go into the trade finder, type in J, and you get J's fast filters. Go and look at them. They're pretty cool. There's always a nugget or two in there, and we'll do another webinar on that on this coming Thursday. Obviously, as you saw just a few minutes ago, you will be able to go into these and then edit them and create your own, J sub-filters or Guy sub-filters or Glenn or Chloe as well. So very, very cool, but do use these. These are a shortcut to good-looking stocks. Now, let's go through my big list and see what we can unearth. But a lot of what I'm going to show you today is going to show you how the market really hasn't performed very nicely over the last week in terms of so many different sectors other than technology. Here's the S&P, already a little bit extended, but I did say last week, room for some more upside. Still really the case, not massively overbought, but it's, I think 550 is going to be an interesting area for the markets here. So we're not a million miles away, are we? Let's just have a look where we close or where the high was, 544. So I think 550 is in range. In that one, maybe find a little bit of short-term resistance there. Then let's look at the Qs. Similar story. Look at the big push up that's had, 480. Maybe does it get to 490 or 500? Maybe it does. But again, look at this and look at this. That's where we do it. In our world, this is where we act, right near a key level. And then there was a bit of shenanigans here. That one I will forgive anyone for if they got stopped out. It's really difficult if that happens. But that's the area, not up here, because what you will find is there will be a retracement quite suddenly in due course. It's not the time to chase. Where is the time to be busy and active is there, okay? So, and we know that. Everything's already starting to move and change at that point. Now, that's those two indices. Now let's look at what's going on with DIA, the Dow, and IWM. Very different indices, but you're just going to see a complete difference in behavior here. So look at this. That doesn't look like it. We even had a sell-off bar on Wednesday, and that just doesn't look that good at all. And I think you could even make some case somewhere along the line to bullish, or so bearish shrinking retracements. That's what it looks like to me on DIA. Then you look at IWM, which is the complete opposite of DIA. This is the mid-cap 2,000 stocks now, rather than top 30. And you'll see that last week I was bearish on it, and then we gapped up on Wednesday, only to come all the way back down. This is ugly market behavior. Ugly market behavior with negative OVI generally spells down on that. And again, do we have bearish shrinking retracements? Well, I think we do. If you look at that, that's what I think is happening. It's not showing up, but visually I can see that. So I don't like the look of that, or I do like the look of it for bearish, for IWM. Look at gold. Let's have a look at that one, and then we'll go through some stocks alphabetically. Again, this one, remember we said overbought here and here? Brilliant. We didn't get involved there, and it has come down. Right now, looks a bit iffy. I wish we had a better OVI situation for it, though. Now let's go alphabetical and see what we can find. Apple obviously gone nuts this week. I mean, look at that. So again, but where do you get in? Well, the people that I know who trade brilliantly went in here on that breakout. There. And again there. Slightly over, but not massively. Now it's massively overbought. Really difficult to chase that one. But this is where post-earnings, right there. So you're in at about 188, worst case scenario. And now look, 210. And then if you look at the implied vol on that one, you can see implied vol drops to 20 odd. You're already talking about 4.5 multiple of leverage for deep in the money, boring options there, which means from, let's call it from 190 to, 210. What's that? about 12, 13%, something like that. You can multiply that by 5 or 6 by that point. So you see you're getting into 70+% on options there. This is how you do it, guys. All right. Now, this is one found by Jay. This is Abbevie. Let's have a look. Not many out there that look good. This one is interesting. Slight contradiction there with the shrinking retracements, but I think you could argue somewhere along the line that we have downward shrinking retracements as well, suggesting some upside. The OVI is there, some volume is there, key levels is there, consolidation is there. I think we've got enough there to show that if it breaks 170 and a bit, could be quite interesting on that one. ABT, Abbott. What's happening here? Well, I think with this one, we showed it last week as being, well, potentially bullish, and then plop, it went down. But it didn't do the consolidation, so no losses there. But you can see over and over again today, I'm going to show you some weird behavior that happened. This was a bearish one from last week. It didn't break down. It popped up, banged its head on the 200, and now it seems to be coming back down again. Advanced Micro. Now, this one, I just want you to keep looking at this one because I think its time will come, but it's just not yet. AMSC, let's have a look at that one. This one, American Superconductor. Right, there's a story to this one, and I was talking about it in a private group last week. So I am a bit nerdy. I like to watch science documentaries, and there's one I've watched about 5 times over the last 4, 5 years, and it's called Shock and Awe, the story of electricity. And it's on YouTube, but they've compiled the 3 one-hour episodes into one, so it's a one big 3-hour thing. And of course, if you're like me, you watch a bit, fall asleep, and then try to catch up. So you're forever trying to catch up. I finally got to the end, and they were talking about the concept of superconductors. Now, superconductors up to now have been dominated by Japanese companies, and it's a way of conducting electricity even without touch, obviously combining electromagnetism, etc. Now, don't worry about all that. But the point is that, you know, historically, it's relied on super cold temperatures, and gradually, as the technology improves, the temperatures are rising and rising and rising to the point where they will soon find the materials to be able to do room temperature superconductivity, which will change the entire game of electricity generation and distribution. Now, I thought that sounded interesting, so I started looking at superconductor companies, and there's only one really big one in America. It's not even that big, except for the fact that, look where I found it, here, just after it had done all that. Now, if only I'd watched it just literally 2 weeks before, I'd be down here at 15, right here. So I kicked myself a little bit, because I've watched this thing over and over again, but never quite paid attention to that part. But this time will come again. The market cap of this is still very low. Last week when I looked at it, it was 750 million. Now it's 950 million, but there's still plenty of room there. So when the next chance comes, then I would be having this on your watch list and think very carefully about it. Now, the implied vol is very, very high on this one as well. So our time will come again, but I would put that on the watch list. That's one of these ones that would be a really interesting one moving forward. Now, American Tower. This one consolidating just above a key level, good volume. There are big money footprints there. I think there is potentially this kind of shape going forward. OVI could be better, but otherwise looking interesting if it can break above 200. Amazon, one of the top 7, just bumbling around near that 50-day, and nothing really I want to say about that one. Arista Networks, another one in that kind of sector. You can obviously just look at it from your stock profile page up here. You'll see computer hardware. Also, you can look at this dialog box right here as well. And what's going on here? Well, it's been a nice rise. This one was a pullback and then up 300. So from 300, missed it there, and I didn't mention it last week as it happens. But just do be aware of these pullbacks to key levels because it was there. And also, if you look at, and we're bringing out a filter for VIPs anyway on the ATR bands. So if you were to say what was within one ATR, say it was a very tight look, it pulled back to within one ATR of its 50-day key level with a decent OVI. This is going to be something we want to talk about moving forward. And again, like I say, I'll have a filter for you very soon on that. APD, let's have a look at that one. APD, we had this one last week and the week before. Where? Here. There. But then look what happened on this Friday. That happened. So you're probably stopping out at that point. But you could be in here and here. So thereabouts. So a good trade, but just sort of coming to a bit of a close right now. Now, this one's Apollo, and it really just hasn't done what we wanted it to do yet. It may do, but there's a lot of friction around here right now, which makes it very difficult. So we had this, and then down and up and down and up and down, and goodness knows. So a lot of friction there, not the easiest. ARC had a good week. Sorry, well, had a good week, and then came back down again. So this is a stock, OVI is recovered, but it's, as soon as this tech push is done, this stock, I'm sure, will come back down again as well. And even with a decent OVI, not much movement there either. And again, a couple of bad days for it on there. But I look at this thing as being, full of weak stocks and very speculative stocks. Avgo, anything good for us? Well, this is Avgo. We did not have this last week because it just wasn't showing up, and it was pre-earnings as well. That is massively overbought now. This is Broadcom, of course, by the way, and of course AI being part of their situation as well. Don't chase, okay? No matter how tempting it is, don't chase it. Now this is food, packaged food, and they're not doing so well at the moment. I would also argue here shrinking retracements. Breaks below this level here, 50, 58 and a half, that kind of level, then I think that comes down. So plenty of bearish big money for it. No one's that interested in those, and there's a couple of others as well that I will show you. This is Caterpillar. Obviously, we were showing bearish on that last week. It's just about gone bearish. CBOE, also another bearish one. Let's have a look at what happened there. Did pretty nicely. Look at that. Wednesday did nicely for us. So that's where we're coming down from. We've had that since last week. That's pretty good. So I'll take that one. Then we've got Chemours, and that was another good one for us on the bearish side from before. But now look at it again. So it's gone up this week near the key level, but it is forming a bearish railroad track with that and near a key level. I would suggest that if it comes down, there is more downside for it as well. So we've been looking bearishly at that one since the end of May, or actually since about here. So it's done well. It has retraced, but this does look like there's more downside action there. Carnival, cruise lines. Look at this. So we looked at that one last week and thought, yeah, that one, if it breaks out, could be good. It didn't break out, and then we have this on Friday. So really interesting, and we've had a lot of that kind of thing going on in the last few days. So not particularly good behavior there. Very difficult to to try and deal with that. Corebridge Financial. This one, you could look at it as a pullback, but with negative OVI now slipping down below that 50. That does look like the path of least resistance will be downwards on that one. CrowdStrike, another tech sort of situation. AI, if you like. Again, another AI stocks in my AI list there. Let's have a little look. Up, and difficult to chase that one, but that is up at earnings. Probably will go up more, but it's just so difficult to chase at that point. So maybe look for some that aren't doing as well right now. This is CVS. I liked it last week, provided it can get above that 50-day key level, which it hasn't just done quite yet. So we'll wait and see whether it does. Again, we're looking for high probability stuff, and if it's not, then just don't do it. That's the rule here. Now, Datadog's another strange one, because here it was looking bearish after some sell-off bars there last week, and it's gone right back up, and then it's bouncing back off its 50 as well. So really difficult it's difficult behavior, that one. Dell, this one's an interesting one. The question mark in the Telegram group says, is this a pullback or is it something worse? Well, I would suggest it's probably a pullback. Quite a severe one, just needs to do something quite interesting, like it needs to get above 140 or something like that in order to become interesting again. Dollar General, bearish. We were bearish on that one, just nudging down a little bit. There should be some downside in that one. DJT, not doing so well last week, so now we've got a 50-day moving average and it is drifting down with negative OVI. I wouldn't want to play with that one, to be fair, in any case. EA up. Let's have a look at this one. This one, not bad. So if I look back and see when I was mentioning it before, from the end of May, we were bullish. It has done what it should do. It's just done it in a pretty volatile way. And it still looks like there's some bullishness to come. It's just not the easiest one to trade. So you'll find that sometimes you get the direction right, but it's very difficult to manage that trade, especially with those long bars. Estee Lauder, we had been bearish on that one for quite some time, and it's continued to be bearish, which is good. Enphase, was that going to take advantage of the solar situation with First Solar and others? Well, unfortunately, look what's happened. It did up to a point. We looked like it was going to be bearish. It still did. And then look what's happened since Wednesday. From 140 down to 125 in pretty quick order as well. Fifth Third Bank doesn't look particularly happy. It's a great stock, great company, but doesn't look very happy right now. And then for that reason, it's not a buy at this point in time. It's drifting below, negative OVI, just let it do its thing. FND, this is Floor and Decor. Now what happened here? Well, again, look at this behavior here, which is just not constructive at all. So it looked bearish, then popped up, then back down, then gapped up, then back down. Really difficult behavior there. So I just wouldn't go near it. You don't want to be touching stocks that are behaving like that. Here is First Solar, the big up move, and then just taking a rest. So this move up from here, from a massively overbought situation, is now being, these guys got caught right there, and now they're going to face some drawdown. So again, another illustration of why you don't chase. GDS, look at that one. GDS Holdings, this one looks interesting. It's not particularly amazing because there's only $1 between these points, although it's 10%. I guess that's quite interesting in itself. But if it breaks out from here, I think there's some upside to come there. Some shrinking retracements there, and that should at some point come out for us. This is GE Health Care. This one, not looking good. If it breaks below 75, then there should be some downside to that one. GH, Guardant Health, rather. Now we were being bullish on this one post earnings. If it can get above here, it did. It's just been messy, but again, generally the right direction, but coming back down now. Google, one of the top 7. We always have to look at this one. Doing well, elevated. Slight false breakout on Wednesday. Don't want to say anything about that. No OVI to go on. Another home improvements company. This is Home Depot. Looked bearish reluctantly last week, and then it just popped up. Now looks bullish, but again, it's so flaky right now with so many stocks and doing this kind of up and down, and I would just be a little circumspect on that one right now. Hartford Financial, drifting below its 50 with a negative OVI. I think also, and actually it's showing, with shrinking retracement. So I think there is room for drift down, not much room for drift up, I would suggest. Now IBM has been a little bit muted. Let's have a little look at this. What's going on here? Is there anything to do here? Not quite sure. I need it to be above the 50 is the answer on that one. But it's, it does have AI, involvement, and if AI is flavor of the month, then we must be interested in it at some point, but that's not quite yet. Lightspeed. Well, we just can't quite get going on this one, can we? I mean, it just needs to get above that level, and then we can get interested. It needs to close above the 200, and then perhaps. But it's just hanging in there still. Macy's having a tough old time. And this now, as I thought last week, looked bearish. It didn't break down, but I think it will do in the next week or so. Meta, one of the top 7 again. Looking okay, actually, even consolidating there, if you fancy it. Just needs to break out again. But if you can hold above 500, it's just a difficult one for me. I'd like to see that consolidation kind of nice and tight around there. That's for me. Then there's Middleby. Still haven't figured out that icon there. But Middleby we had been bearish on way back here. And I think that has connotations of more downside on that one. Monster, we talked about this one last week. We've thought bearish for some time with OVI. But again, what I would suggest on this one, there is some news out on this one. And this is going to be really interesting when it decides to come back, which it will do. This is just like owners, just doing some distribution of their shares. But I don't think it's for reasons that people might get upset by. So there's all your distribution activity from the 2 founders. My guess is that this will stabilize in due course and will become something quite interesting for us. Look at the implied vol, by the way, not doing an awful lot. In a fall like this, you would expect implied vol to have taken a hammering, and it hasn't, or risen quite strongly, which it hasn't done. So there's going to come a point in time, I think that one will come back for us. And, the options are quite cheap as well. Let's just see whether we can find a good spot. What might constitute a good spot if you want to get in super early with that one, by the way, would be if you get, an open, low, close, high green bar, which is extended. That might be your opposite of a monorail. Would be a bullish monorail. Merck is next. This one, again, this is one of those ones that just, it looks like it should be bullish, looks like it should be doing the right thing, and then you get that on Wednesday, which is just messing everything back. So it's pulling back in there. Just really difficult to know what to do about that one at the moment. I would stay away for the time being. Microsoft is one of the big 7. Let's have a look at that one. Doing well. Looked like it was okay. Doing well again. Looks like there's probably more upside, I dare say, in the short term. Match.com, we said we want it to consolidate above its 50-day moving average. It's just about doing that. It needs to do a breakout. If it breaks out, there could be something in it. OVI could be better. Matador, we didn't like that one. We thought that looked bearish. Why does it look bearish? Because you keep on getting these sell-off bars, and here's what's happened again. Up it goes from here, which was a surprise, but then look what happens. Up, then a sell-off bar at that 50, and then more with negative OVI there. Oil and gas having a problem this week. Newmont Mining, let's have a look at that one. Now, what's going on with this one? Is it a pullback or is it more? Well, with a negative OVI, goes below 40, it should go down. It should do. Netflix doing okay. Doing okay and still doing okay there. So that's that one. NVIDIA still pulling away massively. So NVIDIA, what we really need is something like this to happen again. If you look at it here, that's your opportunity. NVIDIA has obviously done the stock split now as well, making it a little bit more accessible. Palo Alto. Now, have we got something in here? Let's have a look at where this has gone into as well. I think there's a J one in here. Let's just click on that. Yeah, J has found that one as well, which is pretty cool. So Palo Alto, again, it's involved in AI. The stickiness of this is to do with Edge browser. I might just change my browser on that one. That should just go away. Let's just, I've got a bit of a problem there. Let's just pause a second. Here it is back. So let's go back to Palo Alto. Here we go. So it's formed a base. OVI could be better, but if it breaks out from around these levels, then that could be interesting. PGY, what happened there? Lots of green. Pagaya Technology in here. So it broke out, then it came back those last couple of days, which doesn't help that much, didn't keep going, but still in the mix one way or another. So again, you've got your shrinking retracements, still in the mix. Just maybe another consolidation, maybe even a pullback would be helpful at this point. Planet Fitness. Again, bullish shrinking retracements. This one has gone. So we liked it when we talked about it when, if we say, well, we had it, we liked it from here, but it didn't. It pulled back. But then we kept on liking it. So early last week, if we look at that one, the 8th of June, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's what's happened. It bounced from there. So difficult one because it gapped up, but at least, again, we saw that it was the right way. Palantir is next. This one, again, is another AI stock situation. We liked it last week. It's done a false breakout, but it's still there in the mix. Should have some upside moving forward. But again, a lot of these ones just haven't behaved particularly well. So I'm very much in the camp of not enjoying these kind of behaviors myself very much. This one here is, let's have a look, what's it called? PODD. It's called Insulet Medical Devices. This is where you want it, but it's doing it again here. So it's behaving quite well. There's likely some upside here. Slightly extended, though, already. PayPal. Now, you know how I feel about them. Interestingly, there was a big, one of the big publications said, oh, PayPal's good value, you should buy it, and then this is what happened. It's not a buy there. It looked like it could be one if it consolidated with any OVI, but it didn't do it. So this is exactly what's happened instead. So it just goes to show, look, play each one by its merits. Try to be careful about what you read, because this one didn't do what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to consolidate with a good OVI, with a positive OVI. It didn't do that. Instead, it just rolled over. And now, it's actually got shrinking retracements the other way, and there looks like there's going to be more downside than upside. Qorvo is a semiconductor stock. Let's have a look at that one. Looking good. Up, and now it just needs to consolidate. Just needs to consolidate and just wait for it that way. Rig, another oil and gas stock, not looking good. But again, you see from these bars here what the potential is. And then up and then down again. We were bearish on that one anyway from last week. Run, this is Sunrun. What's going on in solar? Is there anything we can find in solar that might be helpful? Not really. So here's where we're thinking, yep, it's consolidating above a key level. It looks like it could be good on the back of First Solar. It does this on Wednesday and then comes immediately back down. Really unhelpful. Not good behavior at all. Starbucks, obviously we picked this out quite a while back. So that's Starbucks. We picked it up over here. It's done okay, but it really needs to get back above that 50-day key level. Here's Soxol, the semiconductor index. You can see that's gone completely nuts. Done really, really well. It is overextended. So if there are any stocks that aren't extended, maybe that's an interesting one. But again, I like not to chase, even though there's possibly some more upside there. So this is Seagate Technology. This one we had last week, and this one's been a good one. Right there, and bang. So that's good. And I think I might have mentioned that I think there was shrinking retracements in there as well. So that's pretty good. That was as good as anything from the last week or so in terms of just sensible, not overbought stuff. Then you got SU. This is Suncor. What's going on there? Well, that one is a classic sell-off there, negative OVI, and then downward, and probably got more downside as well. This is SWKS. This is Skyworks. Again, another sort of stock in that tech kind of situation. But look at what's happened. Up it goes. Needs to consolidate, and then we have to do something. Now it says here shrinking retracements. I would probably think it's doing that and that, maybe even that one in comparison to that one. But I would hold off on that one. I think that one looks like it wants to consolidate and maybe go up a bit. Stryker, we had this one last week as something that we like the potential look of. Still do, and it dominates its sector, just needs to do a breakout. Pulling back right now, I think that looks beginning to look pretty nice. Dominates its sector. TEX is next. This one, Terex, looked bearish last week and has been bearish this week. Very difficult when you've got that going on. You know, it breaks a new low, but it obviously went high, then new low, but overall that's been a good shout for us there. Tapestry, so you're talking about, you know, luxury goods here, amazingly looks okay, but it does need to break out, and it didn't do it last week. Then you got Tesla, another big one. Now, this is the news that they're approving the 50-odd billion reward for Elon Musk. I have no real opinion of that one. Obviously, it is a company that does have a lot of impact from its main cheerleader there. What I would say is it's quite interesting. It's going out negative shrinking retracements, but I think you could also make the point for positive, but they're just very small on that one. So I think it's making a base. I thought that for quite some time. I think we just now, from these two bars, need to find a consolidation, and I think if it rises from there, that could be quite interesting. Uber's been looking interesting too. So that one, we talked about that one last week. It did pop. It now needs to form another consolidation here. Maybe there's more in it there. Now, US foods. We talked about food companies earlier with one earlier on, Calm. Now we got this one. This is really interesting. Negative OVI. This does look like there's more downside than upside on that one. So that one looks interesting. No one wants that. And then this is UTZ, another food company. Have a look at that one too. Drifting with a negative OVI below that 50-day moving average as well. Now let's look at the energy sector, XLE. Not doing great, is it? And that's just drifting down at this point. Now here on this bar, that green bar, it did look like, okay guys, it looks like we're going to push back up again. It just didn't follow through at all. XLK on the other hand, tech sector, flying. Real estate sector, bit of a surprise. Technically looks good. Shrinking retracements both ways, but definitely that way. This looks good. OVI sucks. So that's really interesting and a big question mark on that one. I don't know. Then you got Exxon. How's that gone? Well, again, it looked like here we're going to be the start of a bullish situation, but look what happened. Immediately drifted down. Now OVI is beginning to catch up. So again, I'm not going to chase that one either which way. I'm not going to try and make an opinion. I need a really good, solid setup on that one. Zimmer Bionet, this is a great call from us. Look where we started to go bearish on that one, right around there. And look at the lovely drop we've got there. Beautiful. That's the kind of thing we like. And then Zoom, look at this one. Look at that. Zoom not doing great. This is sell-off bars. And although it is hitting one-year lows or exceeding one-year lows, there is no reason why that won't continue to drift. Now, if we can get some kind of waterfalling there, that could be even better. But this is weak. This stock is weak. Up, shrinking retracements. Buyers not having much fun with this particular stock. So what do we make of all this? Well, the truth is it's really tough going. Apart from the semiconductors and AI-related stocks, which were already flying and somewhat overbought, it's been, as you can see, a really choppy, nasty little market. Now, what does that mean? There's two things it could mean. Once the feast of AI stops, either the market grinds to a halt and we have one heck of a nice big pullback, or there's rotation and other stocks start to pick up. At this moment in time, I am going to favor a pullback at some point. I can't time it right now, but once there's this gluttony of AI stops and they take a rest, then I just don't think there's going to be other stocks filling in the void. At this point, that would be my assessment. Too much in the way of abnormally unhelpful behavior. So many of the stocks I went through today were just unhelpful. They popped down and then up and then back down again. That's not what we like to see. So be super fussy. Again, Make sure in the Telegram group so we can message you there for events and, like we've got this webinar on Thursday. Do come to the webinar. Look out for the email. Just one other thing. We were helping out someone we do some stuff with, and we were just showing them our TV capabilities. As you know, we got this amazing TV set up within the actual application. We were showing a partner how that could work. Be really, really cool for them. And we put one of their videos up on our channel, and then YouTube just shut it down. No, they say they've looked into it. They haven't, because they've just used a bot. But we just shared someone's video that we work with, and they shut it down. No questions, no appeal, no nothing. I think a little bit scary, I must say. It's not really, I think when you can't talk to a human being on what is they did a sort of dangerous and violent stuff. Well, it wasn't dangerous, it wasn't violent, it was a trading thing. No right of questioning, appeal, they're playing God. It's a bit scary, I think. So some of these big techs, that's Google in that case, who own YouTube, I think it's a little bit scary, and we obviously have to find alternative solutions as well, because if they can just literally shut you off and not even listen to a reasonable plea, if you like, then that's a very odd place to be in a world that's so preoccupied with fairness and all those other things. Anyway, just to let you know, we will rebuild our channel back up and put all the other ones back in due course. Anyway, that's it for me today. I'll see you on Thursday. Bye for now.